I really want to talk about another deep meaning behind a movie. This one I chose from my heart here. Been a big X-Men fan, read a bit of the comics, watched all the movies, especially when I was a kid. But this movie came out within the last couple years. And the real meaning of this film is very bizarre. The very first thing I want to talk about is the idea in the movie. It's like, oh, he got that from the Bible. Well, maybe the Bible got that from him. Meaning that this guy, Apocalypse, was the pagan god, presumably Amun-Ra. He says himself that he's Krishna, Yahweh, and all this, but he never mentions an Egyptian god. Even though he's from Egypt, he was the Egyptian god, or in the fictionalized version of the film of the pagan god of Egypt. And my first idea, and it's obvious. I mean, look at this. He says he's Krishna, but he names a whole bunch of gods, but he never mentions an Egyptian god that he was. Even though he is wearing the Ankh very plainly on his shirt. He was resting in a pyramid. In a pyramid. I think Giza? No, it's somewhere in Cairo. Where an ancient... The Egyptian top is the next thing I want to talk about after this. But the entire idea of, well, maybe the Bible got it from him, mentions some really severely serious things about the Bible in real life. Well, maybe the Bible got that from him. That is kind of a hint and gesture towards all of the pagan forms and all of the pagan art and all of this and everything about it. Mostly Egypt stuff and mostly European. But it's proven that the Bible gets their sources from pagan sources, especially the Hellenites. They stole from the Hellenites, and they turned Dionysus, Pan, Zeus, or at least the temple of Zeus, into the temple of Satan in scripture, in Bible scripture. I don't know the Bible by 100% heart, but I know it's there. That the temple of Zeus is actually one of the lustful temples of Satan in the scripture. And he just keeps getting bigger and badder throughout the whole movie. Well, maybe the Bible got it from him is a very true ideology, because the Trinity, the Holy Trinity, was actually stolen from the Father, Mother, and Holy Son, was stolen from the pagan ideology of the Trinity, the pagan God trilogy, which was Osiris, Isis, the goddess, the mother, and the son, Horus. They stole that as well. So it goes into a real ideology about the Bible stealing from other cultures. And, well, he's the culture. He represents the pagan gods that the Christianity stole from. Why else would he come back from an Egyptian god, giving demonic powers to the X-Men, 4 X-Men? It's usually depicted as Wolverine to be one of them, but they changed his role halfway through filming. He was in the cartoons or the comics. He was one of the 4 Horsemen, Wolverine. I think they changed it to Psylocke, though, and that was a terrible choice, because Psylocke's one of the most least interesting characters even in the comics, even in the cartoons. Psylocke's just really disinteresting. But he goes around, he has this Egyptian power, he speaks the original Egyptian language. He is the pagan god Amun-Ra. That's my opinion. He was the Egyptian god, or maybe he was just a type of the Wiccan type of thing. where he just represents every single Egyptian god. Just the Egyptians. Maybe he was Tahuti. He was Osiris. He was Amun-Ra. He was Ra. He was Amun. And it's very true that all the pagan gods were turned into devils because Amun-Ra, the god of the sun, turned into one of the demonic kings of hell called Amamon. And he was the darkest side of, in demonology, he's the darkest side of Satan, Lucifer. So, on to that. What was I going to talk about next? Oh, yeah! The Egyptian tops, the tops of the pyramids, which were real. If you look it up, they were real. They found one buried, because they were going to top every Egyptian pyramid in real life, with chemicals, with material made from, quite literally, asteroids. None of this earth. They sculpted the top of the pyramids to represent asteroid. The Sphinx and all that, they're just asteroid on top of the pyramids. So, and when you actually see it in this movie, the Egyptian tops in this movie, they are black like asteroid or meteorite. Aligned with a whole bunch of gold in the center, liquid gold. When it's activated by the sun, liquid gold comes up. So there is that. The only incorrect thing about this whole movie about Egyptology is they didn't do body-to-body transfers or sacrifices, human sacrifices, in that manner. Yes, there were human sacrifices, but it was a spike through, not body-to-body transfer. So, I think this movie was filmed and released before the supposed scientists found the Egyptian top in real life. So think about that for a minute or two there. About the the Hollywood thing. Because it is true, Hollywood is witchcraft, to be honest. And Hollywood comes from the word holy tree, which the ancient Druids would carve for their magical rituals. So holly tree, or Bali, they would cut for their magical rituals, the Druids. So it's Hollywood. Hollywood is Hollywood, the wood used in Druid rituals. You gotta think about it for half a second. And just know that like I said in another video, the whole witchcraft conspiracy of them invading our minds and initiating us, and initiating all of society is all wrong. But it's true, Hollywood or Bollywood was the wood they would cut for rituals and all that. So, and they really picked a good cast for this movie. They put a cast on it. James McAvoy is really good. Michael Fassbender is fantastic, And make us feel sorry for the bad guys. With Michael Fassbender as Magneto, that was a cast. That was spellcasting to make us feel bad and want us to revere for the anti-hero. Next thing is the four horsemen themselves, excluding Psylocke, because I don't think Psylocke really counts. Instead, I would say as a warrior, an additional warrior. But Wolverine, the Angel of Death, was the first thing. And, of course, he's the angel. And the beginning of the movie is the angel versus the devil. Quite literally with Nightcrawler. And that was also spellcasting, too. The whole movie was kind of... all movies have a form of spellcasting to them. But... the devil Nightcrawler as the devil, fighting the angel Michael, or whatever angel you want. But in reality, you gotta think about the semblance of the angel himself. What did he appear as? He got his wing broken like he fell. That was the point, was that he fell. He wasn't great anymore. Because he fell. He was Lucifer, actually. And even when he regains when he regains the strongest wings, the metallic wings, he shows off his power, and then he poses exactly like Lucifer poses in Catholic art, which is interesting. And of course, Storm, the other one, the next one, Storm, is the goddess herself, Artemis, or the goddess of storms, or any form of goddess, really. The goddess of witchcraft, witchcraft revival, and all that. Very plain. The Apocalypse even says this. So, yeah, very deep meaning there. And then we get to the Magneto, the hero, or the anti-hero. The anti-hero always does better. Always is more feels for the anti-hero, for the villain that lost his family twice. Yeah, of course, he lost his family twice, so he decides that his new meaning is to serve as a god and power of the magnifications of Earth. He has the power over Earth, which turns Magneto, actually, into... it's hard to describe Magneto in this movie, but he has power over Earth. Yeah. Pretty good stuff. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't understand the power of the Earth, magnetics. He is changing, and the whole point of Apocalypse himself was to change this Earth, make the ultimate pyramid, enlighten mankind, and all of this. Of course it fails, of course, because the good guys win. The motif of the movie, of every movie, is the good guys always win. You know? So yeah, it's a pretty deep movie.